I'm delighted to be joined on the Midweek Alternative Show today by all 4 members of Durcel Haze. They're here to chat about the band and play us some songs. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, guys. Okay, to start us off, can you tell us where you're based, who's in the band, and what everyone does in it?
Okay, so hi. Thank you for inviting us. I'm Janos from Durcel Haze, and I'm responsible for playing the bass and for the lead vocals. And I'm also responsible for social media as well. And I'm creating confusion because my German is pretty low, so I misunderstand things.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Klaus. I'm the drummer of Durcel Haze, and I am doing sometimes back vocals.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Edi. Really nice that you're having us today. I play guitar at Durcel Haze, and I'm also responsible for all the graphic stuff which comes out from Durcel Haze.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wolf. I also play guitar and do sometimes backing vocals, and I'm the accountant of the band.
The accountant, that sounds important. You look after all the money.
Yeah.
Ooh. When and where did you all meet, and how did the band first start?
Actually, Eddie and Wolf knew each other before the band because we are Kufstein-based band. The underground music life is quite strong, I would say. And therefore, they played in different bands and they played shows together. And when Wolf's band dissolved, then they were thinking about starting up a new project. And they were looking for a drum player, and this was Klaus. And he's playing ice hockey with Klausi. And this was the relation they got together. And then they started to work together and then looking for a bass player and a singer. And this was the point where I showed up. So Eddie also owns a very special event here in Kufstein. It's an open music jam session with a stage where all of the instruments are set up and you can just go up with different musicians to play what you want. And when I moved to Austria, then I started to attend there because I quit all of my bands at Hungary. And this was the relation. Then he called me if I would be interested. Then we said, okay, let's get a kind of an audition. And then we met in an Irish bar where we got quite drunk. We didn't play any notes. And they said, I'm in. And then this way the band was formed.
Yeah, the first time I met Janos at this live hide, at this jam session in Kufstein, I can still remember that the first song he was playing alone on the stage in front of a crowd he never saw before was I Came Too Fast. And I was immediately in love with this guy because this was such a cool thing.
That's fantastic. What was the name of the Irish bar?
Joe's Pub, yeah, it was Joe's Pub.
Who thought of the name Durcel Haze, and why did you choose it?
The band name was chosen on a trip in Dublin. We went to a Foo Fighters show. So we had a list of names, and then we thought that in Dublin we can just pick one from one of those. Then we went, it was I think a whole day of drinking, I would say. And then when we woke up, then there was the name, Durcel Haze. However, the story came from the changing room of the ice hockey training of Eddie and Klausi, because one time somebody was reading an article about ice hockey in the locker room, and then there was a sentence about a player who plays like Durcel Haze in German. So this is the animal for Duracell for advertising. And then the guy did not really understand that this was just like to describe how fast the player was, and was just reacting immediately. I don't know this player. Who is Durcel Haze? And then the story was quite funny this way. And then we just said that this would fit to our attitude and our targets.
We made it fit our attitude a bit, and the great thing about the name Durcel Haze is it was not existing. When you type it into Google or something, you only will find our band Durcel Haze, and we liked the idea because we said we can make our own vision of what a Durcel Haze is or should be out of it, and this gives us much space for stories building around the name and the whole band.
But actually this also has a kind of drawback, because when you say Durcel Haze, no one knows how to spell it. So they cannot search you on the internet.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I always force you to have a tattoo on your head, which is spelled right. You know, Durcel Haze on your forehead would be awesome.
Now he's pointing. No.
You've got 3 songs to play for us. What's your first song choice and why have you chosen it?
I choose the song Love Skills because if I play that song on the drums, I'm getting really big balls and I feel like a big drummer like Eric Singer from Kiss or something like that. Yeah, I fell in love with this song, so that's Love Skills.
Roses in the car, I'm on the ride, talking to this girl I meet tonight. I put my best clothes on the way to you. You don't expect it, but I love you. Wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine, wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine. You close the door and hide the mood. Looking beautiful and smelling good. Never share you again with anyone. The last step of my love plan is on the run. Wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine, wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine. Wanna drive around with me. I promise I'll let you free. You are the best that I can be. You will always belong to me. Slices from the top, steps into the side. I like your bad cheeks, no need to decide. I remove your guts as it is the best. The lighter will take care of the rest. Wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine, wanna make you smile, wanna make you cry. I'm not one of those. Wanna make you mine. Wanna drive around with me. I promise I'll let you free. You are the best that I can be. You will always belong to me. Wanna drive around with me. I promise I'll let you free. You are the best that I can be. You will always belong to me. I've never gone so far, but it feels alright. Killing my feelings before it goes to die.
How would you describe the band's sound?
So for me, Durcel Haze is like an official soundtrack of a computer game, which is like science fiction and played in the future, and it's a very dark, full of dark scenes.
Yeah, and not only that, I think we're always forcing to have a pushy sound, something which pushes you forward, which gives you energy when you're having a hard day or something, and it's some kind of energetic music we're doing. I think it's always pushing forward, and that's the way we are. We're always trying to push our limits and move on, and I think you can hear this in our music a bit.
You've got a great energy in the songs, that's for sure. Okay. What's the songwriting process for the band?
So this is quite complex, and we have many ways to write. Actually, most of the cases, somebody is coming in the rehearsal room with a very well-developed idea, and then we play around with this. And actually, we have the luxury of having 2 rehearsal rooms. So one is my cellar, where we can do demo recordings. So when we just have ideas, we can directly record it and then later on arrange them as we want. And the second rehearsal room is more for the live performances, but sometimes when we have the time, we also take the time and play around with the songs, what else can be pulled out of certain ideas. Lyrics wise, actually, there was the time pressure. So when we set the timelines to record the first album, then we had to finish a certain amount of songs in limited time. And then this way, many lyrics were written in a way that we distributed who will write what. And then it was solved by the due date because it was distributed. Anyhow, there were some final adjustments with the lyrics as well, because after the arrangement was set up, and here we worked together, producer Reinhard von Wegen. After the arrangements, there were some gaps we had to fill up, and then everybody had their idea there as well. So I would say the songwriting process at the end is coming completely from the band and not only from individual songwriters, but there are some signs for certain songs. Where was the origin?
It sounds a very cooperative process.
So it's a startup, you know. So we didn't know how do we want to write. So we tried everything, and then at the end we used everything.
Okay. Do your songs have any consistent lyrical themes?
So if I think about most of the lyrics, then my lyrics or most of the cases are trying to sell some personal experiences as an imaginary story, but somehow it always keeps some personal aspect or memories, and most probably only the close friends and fans can like really find those out. If I think about the lyrics coming most from Eddie, then those are inspired by comics. He's a reader, so also books and many thoughts. So also during the lockdown, writing the lyrics, we couldn't really work together. So we just found out an excuse, how could we meet? And this way, the personal, individual work was more important for the start of the songs. I think these are the most themes. I think it was sure.
Okay. Who designs the covers and does the artwork for the band?
Oh yeah, that's me. That's Eddie. Yeah, the whole artwork and for the album Down the Rabbit Hole and also all the other graphic stuff you can see is done by me mostly. And this is because I just like stuff like comics, graphic design, and a graphic designer professionally. So I earn my money with doing stuff like that. So yeah, I have the red card to do this, or don't know how you say it in English. In German you say du hast die Arschkarten.
You have the authority, credibility, skill, experience, knowledge?
Yeah, or the yeah, something like that.
It's really good anyway. I think you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you very much. Hope you like it. Yeah.
Do very much like it. Okay. You've just released your first album, Down the Rabbit Hole. Who came up with that name and why did you choose it?
Yeah, we also made a list with song names that would fit the album. But in this whole context with the Durcel Haze, you also maybe have seen the rabbit icon we use a lot, which for us is the personified Durcel Haze. And we are all spinning novels and stuff around this Durcel Haze on the album. So the connection to Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland was somewhere in our minds. And we decided it would fit very good to name this album after it and come up with Down the Rabbit Hole. Also, Janusz has some thoughts about the internet and how media is pushing into it. How was that, Janusz?
So my additional thought was, I really like the idea that it's directly connected to our main character of the single Void or the music video Void as well. During lockdown and COVID, actually we had this amazing amount of fake news, which can like drive you crazy when you are following all of that. And actually Down the Rabbit Hole also means that you can go down the spiral as well of the internet, and also it can drive you to a situation which you don't really want. And it was also a very good fit to the final selection of the songs for the album, because somehow it all connects together. We didn't plan it as designed for the songs, however it groups it very well.
Okay. Which recording studio do you currently use and why do you use it?
So when we formed the band, actually, this was my wish to go to a commercial studio. And when we started to look for a studio, I was looking for the most fancy studios I could imagine here, and then it turned out finances stepped in that we cannot afford it. So we started to cut off the costs in a way that what is close, and then maybe we do not have to travel, we do not have to pay for staying for the work. And we just picked Hickdown Studios in Germany, Rosenheim. This is about 30 kilometers far from us, so it was really easy to commute there to make the job happen. Actually, we really found a good friend and connection with the producer there, Reini. We also shared the imagination. How would we like to work? How do we imagine the sound of Durcel Haze? And he was very open for everything, and actually he had very good ideas sound-wise and recording-wise to work together.
It was also a really fun time when we recorded the album, because it was completely locked down. And we are here in Kufstein, this is Austria, and the recording studio was just over the border in Germany. And it was every day we crossed the border, we had police control, and we had lots of papers we need to show that this is okay that we crossed the border. And it was really fun to see the police twice a day when you go there and when you go back. But the good thing was you had to wear a mask when you were talking to the police officer, so you could have 3, 4, 5 beers because they couldn't smell it. This was a good thing.
I like it. While you were in the studio, what approach did you use for your recording?
So we did a pre-production section with Reini, and we are really lucky because during the lockdown we could work together because everyone has a kind of a home studio at home. So the ideas were recorded and sent around, and this way we could also do demos, pre-production demos for our producer. We recorded every idea of us, we sent it to him. He made some arrangements. Actually, first step, he just kicked out at least 5 or 6 songs. This is the first step. Then we started to write again. Then he made some arrangements, and actually the studio work wasn't much then replacing the recordings we did with studio recorded instruments and sounds. On the top, we had the opportunity to add some synths as well to enlarge the sound. And then when we were done with this process, the mastering was managed by Reini, and we also had the chance, as he has a tape recorder as well, that the master was made analog. And we are very, very happy with the outcome.
So you're in budget and you've got a great recording. Your accountant's obviously done his job properly. Champagne for you tonight.
Yeah, champagne party.
Okay, what's your second song choice for us, and why have you chosen it?
So my choice would be Right Into Your Face, because this is quite an angry song, but it's still like a gentleman's speech. Treating you
What's been your favourite live performance experience?
So yeah, no, she's here. My favorite was actually Salzburg, and this was Rock House. We had a chance to play there. It was a kind of a talent show, I would say. So we had not more than 30 minutes, and then the set list was pretty dense. Within this 30 minutes, we set up, I think, in 5 minutes, and it was just so energetic. And then we were also so convincing for the audience that there was a voting for the audience, and we even convinced some people there who were really committed to another band to vote on us.
Yeah, and for concerts we were visiting also. For me, I had a great time in London at the HMV Apollo Hammersmith. There, The Darkness played one day, and Brian May stepped on and played with them. So this was a really cool show for a visited show. Yeah.
What venue would you like to play anywhere in the world if you could, and why?
So for me, it would be Red Rocks, I would say. I know this place from many recordings from their live recordings. John Butler had a live album from there, and I think it's also available on YouTube, so you can see the visuals. The place is just amazing, and it has a really unique acoustics as well. I didn't have the chance so far to visit it, but I think this is really only a dream. We are too small to get there, so maybe I will look for some tickets.
Keep following that dream.
Absolutely. No, Red Rocks is awesome. For me, I would have made the same decision because when I was a child, I had a music video from Incubus performing at Red Rocks, and when I see it now, 20 years later, I'm still in love with this recording. This theater is just mind-blowing. And yeah, for me, I would also go with Red Rocks, followed by the Royal Albert Hall. Of course, where aim high, always aim high.
My loveliest place to play would be on a street in a truck or something like that in a big city like Manhattan or so, and driving around with the truck and play there. That would be a great thing.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, love that.
Yeah. Like AC/DC on the video Highway to Hell or something like that.
I think the Wembley Stadium would be great because I saw the Foo Fighters concert. They played there a few years ago, and this was very impressive to me.
If I can still jump in,
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
thinking about a reachable venue. When I moved here, very much amazed by the music festival here in Kufstein, because there is a Kufstein Unlimited Festival, and it's completely free with 4 stages. When I first have seen this, I really had the dream that I want to play one of those stages because of the vibe and because of like such a small town. How can they really take care of live music so much?
Okay. What's your hope and aspirations for your music?
Hopes and aspirations. So actually the planning of the band is really realistic. Happily, we have a very realistic accountant there. And this way we know what can we reach and how much time we have. So the realistic, what we would like to do is just having from 15 to 20 shows per year here in the region, at least, and in very decent venues. The main target is just to really keep up with the band so that we reach the point when we can continuously working, producing music and releasing them in a manner that it doesn't cost financial issues for us. And also what is realistic from the whole planning, that we are very close to the border, so we are aiming for venues in Germany, Bavaria mostly. What is also very likely that I'm from Hungary, I have some connections. So most probably a spring we are going to start to visit some clubs there, and also hopefully, actually we already got an invite, but it's still, we couldn't use it, let's say. Switzerland could be a target for us, and also Italy, Südtirol could be a right target for us, but we still have to work on this. Other hopes we have is that we can really improve so much that we can leave our jobs.
Let's hope no one's listening who you're employed by.
Yeah. Or we still aim for the lottery, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What's next for the band this year?
So this year in August, Klausi has to get married. In September, I have to get married. And then for the band, now we are aiming to really improve the live performances. So we are in a songwriting session again. We would like to replace some songs from the live set. We would like to have more and more shows. And in addition, we also would like to release more content on social media as well. And this is also coming. This is also in preparation. We really like to entertain our audience on all the channels which are available.
I think you've done a good job with Instagram where you're sitting around having beers and chatting about things. I've watched a couple of those this morning. They work really well.
Thank you very much. Actually, the main thing is we try to create content in a way that we do not really have to stress on it. So this happens.
Just a normal day in Durcel Haze life, sitting around and having beer. Yeah.
I don't know if you have seen the video, but the common investment for the band was to buy a fridge for the rehearsal room that we are supplied by beers. And then the choice was a fridge which looks like a Marshall amplifier. Eddie even did an introduction of this very cool amp.
I love those Marshall fridges.
It's a must.
Really, yeah.
And it
really
got the
good.
blue light, you know. It has blue light inside.
And you can make it louder.
To not go to 11, because 11 is one louder than 10, right?
Okay, sounds like two very happy events there. Okay. What interests or hobbies do any of you have outside of the band?
For myself, besides music, actually, I would say gastronomy. I'm very much into food, also drinks. I'm a huge fan of craft beers as well. And also the mountains. Actually, this is a new passion for me since I moved here. My home region is completely flat. You cannot imagine how flat it is. When I moved here, actually, I was taking pictures about every and each mountains at least 5 times. And then since then, I really like to go to the mountain.
Sounds good. Do you have a specialty dish that you cook?
I'm rather eating and visit restaurants than cooking. The specialty from Hungary is the goulash. We also had a very nice Durcel Haze party. I cooked them goulash. And then on the way home afterwards, like everybody was walking on both sides of the road.
Yeah, because these were not the drinks, these were the goulash, right?
Is this to avoid contact with each other?
Good idea. We should sell it.
Introduce the Hungarian palinka, which is a shot. I'm a fan of it, but here people doesn't really drink. There is the schnapps, which is a high on alcohol, which is really a shot drink. But the Hungarian one is over 50% of alcohol. Yeah, my friends wasn't really prepared for that.
Yeah, Janos introduced us really hard to his palinka. Originally brought in a 5-liter bottle. And we finished this first palinka session. I'm wearing glasses, so I don't know if it's so good for your health, but it kicked us really hard in our back. It was fun. I can't remember, but I'm sure it was fun.
I remember a picture, so we make the goulash quite hot. But in addition, I served some chilies as well. It was a ghost chili as far as I can remember on the table. Eddie did not know how hot the chili I put. And then it was dark when the goulash was done. I just went to Eddie if he needs anything in addition. And then I was with a flashlight lighting up his face. He looked at me and he was in tears saying that, "No, everything is super awesome."
Yeah, it was.
Until the next morning.
Until the next morning, yeah. I turned into a rocket. Hobbies.
Yes, who's next?
Yeah. Of course, I'm born and raised in Tyrol, Austria, and for me, love number one are the mountains, of course, because we just step out of the door and can choose this mountain, this mountain, this mountain, whatever. There's also snowboarding in winter and hiking in summer. And winter, I also like to play ice hockey. Klaus and me are joining the same hockey team in Kufstein. It's called the Pirates, and we are, I think, really good for a peer league at the moment. And I'm also like to read, so it doesn't matter if it's books or comics or whatever. And I also have a fable for Warhammer, which you still do when there is some time. Klaus, you tell something.
Okay.
My hobby is, like Edie said, behind the music is ice hockey, and the other hobby I have is to going to the beer tents in Bavaria and having some beers, and to support the local breweries.
That's not a hobby, that's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah, for me, I'm a little older than the colleagues in the band. I have a family with 2 childs, with 15 and 12, so the family take a lot of time. But if I have time for me, it's the same like the other one, going on the mountains, especially biking with a mountain bike, or in winter I go skiing there.
Sounds awesome. We don't have any mountains as such over here. We just have some hills.
Yeah.
Not quite, not quite the same.
I can understand it. When I was a child, we were pulling each other on a sledge because you couldn't slide down.
Yeah, Somerset is also very flat.
I have to visit there. We will try.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, of course. Last week we met some guys from Newcastle in Kulturfabrik Kufstein, and we had quite much fun with them. So we would like to greet them from here, then sending kisses to them.
What's your final song choice for us tonight, and why have you chosen it?
Final song choice for tonight would be our song Nighthawk. We like to choose it now because the whole stuff going on in the world doesn't look so good at the moment, and also this song fits it a bit because for us this is our personal anti-war song. We want people to face the situation, what's going on, and I think this song is also direct in their faces with this message.
The main thing is that when we wrote the song, the conflict in Ukraine did not start, and then it's a kind of a desperate point that it became true. It's really sad, and actually the hard part is just still coming in the next 2-3 years, I think, Europe-wise. So let's try to disconnect from them and just listen to a song and look into the future, to a brighter future.
Thank you for joining me today. Let's keep in touch. All the best.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
And in addition, I would just like to really emphasize that to spell it Durcel, Durcel Haze.
Thank you.